YouTube recently added a new feature in analytics that shows you the key moments for audience retention. The good thing about this is that you can exactly see the dips and spikes and continuous segments of your particular video, and then you can decide what video to watch next. So on this live stream, I'm going to be talking about how to read your audience retention on YouTube, then how to decide what video you should make next. My name's Herman Drost, and my channel is all about how to grow your audience on YouTube so you can generate traffic, leads, and sales on autopilot. Now, some of you are probably starting a YouTube channel or trying to grow a YouTube channel, and audience retention is one of the main factors for getting into suggested videos. So the longer somebody watches your video, the higher the probability of your video appearing in suggested videos, which is the videos that appear on the right side of the watch page and the videos that appear under the video that you're watching on the YouTube app. What do I make next? And the question is, how do you decide what topic to make for your next video? So you've just published a video and you're thinking about what should I make next? So some people are ahead of the game and maybe shoot several videos or make several video scripts or build out a content calendar. But the key is, what video you want to make next based upon the data that you see in YouTube analytics. Here's some feedback I asked in my Facebook group from my subscribers. Thomas said, when I was asked a question about how do you make your next video, then Thomas says, I search on Google Trends, YouTube search. Jim Costa says, definitely research on Google and TubeBuddy. Sam Bucky, how do you pronounce that? What my viewers want to learn about or use, and I use Answer the Public, which is a great free software that you just go to answerpublic.com and it'll give you all the questions related to your keyword phrase. Then Linda's saying, I guess it's a cooking channel. I decide what recipe to make. So those are actually some good ways to do it, and I won't be getting into so deeply those particular aspects, but I'm mostly focusing on audience retention because, as you'll see later, it's one of the primary factors for getting views and getting more subscribers and building your channel. So what is audience retention? So it's the ability of your videos to keep the attention and interest of your audience. So the longer that you can keep and maintain your audience's attention throughout your video, generally it means that it sends a signal to the YouTube algorithm that this person that is watching your video is very interested in your content. So if you get a high audience retention, which means that people are staying engaged longer on your content, then YouTube will surface more videos to that person. And if you create more of that type of video, then it'll surface your videos to that person. They'll come back to watch more. So that's a good thing because it means you're giving them content that they're interested in, and therefore they're more likely to subscribe to your channel. So another aspect is that it helps. If you get a good audience retention, then that means your audience is resonating with your content. You know, you've created a topic, you're keeping them watching, and the topic is resonating with them. So usually I tell everybody, you know, if you're starting YouTube, you really got to hone in on your ideal audience and, you know, make a profile of them, you know, what age they are, what sex they are, what interest they are. And the more you can hone in on that particular type of audience, that particular person, then it's easier to create content for them. And if you're your own audience, your own target audience, that's even easier, because if you're interested in the topic, then you can just make videos based upon the topics that you're interested in. YouTube says you can increase the chance of YouTube suggesting your content by increasing your click-through rate. That's when people click on your thumbnail, and your video watch time. So watch time is part of audience retention. The longer somebody watches your video, then the more engagement you're receiving from the content. So I put a definition here: watch time, the amount of time that a viewer has watched a video. So it's just another definition for audience retention. So here I've got some of these graphs that look at audience retention. So you got this first one. When the line on the chart is flat, it means viewers are watching that part from start to finish. So this would be, I'll show you later how you can view this kind of graph in your analytics. Then you've got the gradual decline, means viewers are losing a bit of attention over time. So particularly like in the first 30 seconds or so, 15, 30 seconds, a lot of people might drop off, you know. So you see that it starts off at 100%, and then people leaving or becoming disinterested or bored, etc. So you'll see that gradual decline, which is very typical for most videos, especially if it's, you know, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes long. And then you got the spikes, which I'll show you in the analytics later, but these spikes appear when more viewers are watching. So they might rewatch that segment, they might be, you know, interested in your background, or maybe even they got interrupted or something like that. So rewatching, if they rewatch certain segments of the video, that, you know, if a lot of people rewatch the video, you could get like 100% audience retention rate. Then we've got the dips. The dips mean viewers are skipping or leaving your video at that specific part. So you don't want to see too many dips, but if you see dips, then in your audience retention, that means that people are leaving, they're skipping that part. And that's why it's good to keep an eye on your audience retention graph. And if you see a number of times where people are skipping, then you might think, well, maybe I was waffling too much, maybe I repeated myself, maybe I spent too long explaining something, and then I lost viewers as a result of that. So I don't know about you, but it's really hard to keep people's attention for like 8 or 10 minutes all the way through your video. So that means you have to spend more time in the editing process, you know, kind of resetting the attention of viewers using B-roll and transitions and changing positions, etc. So let me know, what are some of the ways that you keep people's attention throughout your video? So those are some of the charts. Now we're going to look at the key moments for audience retention. Now this is a new YouTube card that YouTube recently came out with. So I thought that, a lot of people don't know about that. So I thought it'd be good to talk about audience retention and look at this new card that YouTube now displays in your analytics. And hopefully everybody has that already, but let me show you how you get there. So basically what you do is you go to your YouTube studio, click on analytics, and then this is on the channel level. You're going to click on the engagement tab. And here it'll show you the title, Key Moments for Audience Retention. And it'll show you a bunch of your videos. And then it'll give you these segments. So beginning, continuous segments, spikes, and dips, kind of what I was explaining before. The video has to be 1 minute long, and only your most recent videos will appear in channel analytics. So it's only for your most recent videos. But if you want to dive deeper into audience retention, you can always click on the See More to view more of your videos. So those are the key moments for audience retention, and let's go a little bit deeper into that to explain more. So the first one is the intro, and they've got a graph here which shows the first 30 seconds. So this beginning segment shows videos where they're still watching after 30 seconds. So you could say that if you can, usually I say it's like 10 or 15 seconds, and I think that you have to really focus, like what is that hook that you can make at the beginning of your video that keeps people watching for the first 30 seconds. And if you can keep them watching for the first 30 seconds, then it's more likely that they'll continue watching the rest of your video. So in this beginning segment, all these videos here that are listed shows that, like here it's got 63% of your starting audience is still watching at 30 seconds. And then you can just play the clip and see that people are still watching. So by getting this list of videos where people are still watching, like 60% or 70%, I think here I've got, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but I've got 63%, 59%, 57% of my audience is still watching after 30 seconds. So that's really great. And if I look at those videos, then I find that they're doing pretty well. They're attracting traffic from YouTube is recommending them in Browse Features, which is the home screen, youtube.com, on your desktop or on the YouTube app. So gives you a good indication, these videos are worth, approaching or doing another video from a different angle. Next one is continuous segments. So this means that this particular segment for this video, how to use TubeBuddy to get subscribers on YouTube. So this video is bringing in traffic every day. I did it probably about a week or two ago. I created that video. It's about 8 minutes long. And I won't even tell you how long I spent on it trying to reset people's attention in the editing process. But I think it probably took about maybe 10 or 20 hours by the time I'd finished editing the video. But as a result of investing that amount of effort, it's getting traffic every day. And here, YouTube is saying that the continuous segment, it's saying that most viewers, I don't know if you can see that in the image, but it says most viewers are watching this video section of your video. Really great, or well done. So I can't read this. Really great, I think it says. So 1 minute, 2 seconds. So 8 minutes 34 to 9 minutes 35. So well, I think it must be a 10-minute video. So it means that people are watching the video after continue watching the video after 30 seconds, and then they're watching that continuous segment. So this tells me that, you know, it'd be worthwhile following up with a similar video by capitalizing on this video that most viewers are watching this entire, you know, watching this segment. So long segments are better than short segments, and it means that the content is resonating with my audience. So that's a handy card where you got the beginning, audience retention, people watching still after 30 seconds, and then the continuous segments, which shows that people are still, you know, watching even in the middle or even at the end of your video. Spikes. So what are spikes? So here is an example of, so you can see on this graph here, and we can see it from your end, but people started dropping at the beginning, and then there was a spike. So what does this mean? So this means that more viewers watch this part of the video compared to other parts. So you can see this mountain here on the graph that was suddenly got a spike. So that means that people are very interested in that part of the video. It also means that they could be rewatching that particular segment. So in my last video, I got a comment where somebody was not from this country, but they maybe couldn't understand what I was explaining in the video. And the comment was, I don't know how many times I rewatched that part of the video. So that means that person, probably because they couldn't understand my accent or understand my explanation, kept on rewatching that particular segment. So that would be a spike in the graph. Another reason could be a timestamp. So they could have seen the timestamp, and then a lot of people watched that particular timestamp. It could also mean that the audio cut out. So that, you know, if the audio cut out, maybe they replayed it because your audio cut out. Or maybe you're saying something funny in the video, and then they rewound it to get the joke. So that's what the meaning of spikes is. So here it says more viewers watch this part of the video compared to other parts of the video. So if you get a lot of spikes, that's good. But ideally you want to have like 50% of the people watching your video to make it all the way through. Then you've also got the dips. So dips, as you can see here, a dip at the beginning, that means fewer viewers watched this part of the video compared to other parts. So what's some of the solutions to get rid of the dip? Add a transition, add some B-roll, ask a question, add some text. You know, the more that you can reset people's attention, and you know, by adding these things, then you can keep people engaged throughout your video. So so if you have a long video, say like 8 or 10 minutes, and you find that people are dropping off in the first 3 minutes, you might want to shorten the video in your next video and try to see if you get a higher audience retention on a shorter video. So if you keep making longer videos and people are dropping off after 3 minutes, that means you're wasting time creating that 8 or 10 minute video. But if you keep them engaged for 8 or 10 minutes, then it's worthwhile. So look at your audience retention, see where people are dropping off. If it's a common graph where you see the dips and people leaving, then you might want to shorten your videos and see if you can boost your audience retention. So that was all the channel. That was on the channel level, and now we're going to look at the video level. So this audience retention you can also look at from a video level. So the way to get there is you go to YouTube Studio, you click on the Videos tab, and then click on Analytics, and then you can click on Overview. Might be the Overview tab, or it could also be the Engagement tab. But here I've clicked on the Overview tab for this particular video. Audience retention, 28.7%. And then you'll also see on your on this card over on the right, you'll see the real-time analytics. So it'll show you where the traffic's coming from. So most of the traffic for this video is coming from externals. This would be like if I drill down further, if I click on See More, I could drill down further to see exactly what's happening. But my guess is that this video is probably getting picked up by Google search. So I could check that out. But most of the traffic is external, so Google search. Second traffic source, YouTube search. Suggested videos, 3.8%. And then the others, director unknown, other YouTube features, 1.3%. So this is on the video level. So you can quickly see the audience retention, and you can also click See More, which we'll look at later. But I think this looking at your traffic sources is where you can see more details of what's going on. So if we click See More, like under this graph, then let's move this over here. Then we can see a more detailed graph of the audience retention. So we've got the average view, we've got audience retention at the top. We've got a breakdown of average view duration. So this means the estimated average minutes watched per view for the selected content, date range, region, and other filters. Then the average percentage viewed is the average percentage of a video your audience watches per view. So that is these two boxes on this box up here, average view duration, 133, average percentage viewed, 28.7%. So the higher these numbers, the better it is. So this is sort of like a more detailed view of your audience retention. Then we can look at the average percentage viewed impressions click-through rate. So if we, let's go back one slide here. So if we click See More, then we can drill down further at the traffic sources. We're going to detailed traffic sources. So here I've got the title of the video, average percentage viewed, 28.7%. The views, the watch time, subscribers. This is for since it was published. So, and then we've got the estimated revenue, impressions, click-through rate. impressions, then impressions click-through rate. Impressions click-through rate for this one is 9.9%, which is really good. Average for most videos between 2 and I think between 2 and 4%, or might be between 2 and 10. But that's pretty good. Usually I get like around between 3 and 4% impressions click-through rate. But in this case, I got a high impressions click-through rate, which is probably why this video is doing pretty well. Because as I showed you before, my traffic sources, most of it's coming from YouTube search and Google search. Here are some metrics you need to know. So average view duration, I mentioned, is the estimated average minutes watched per view for selected content, average percentage viewed, average percentage of a video your audience watches per view. The watch time is the estimated total hours for your channel. And impressions click-through rate, how often viewers watch the video after seeing a thumbnail. So they click on the thumbnail, and that's an impression click-through rate. So they clicked on the thumbnail. Mr. Talent Reed saying, what makes a video get views fast? Usually it means that the audience is very interested in that topic. You're keeping them watching, so they've clicked on the thumbnail, they love the topic, they love the thumbnail, they love the title, and most of all, they're very interested in the topic, and that will get you the views. So, and then, of course, if you get a high audience retention, then YouTube will surface your video to more people's channels, and that will result in more clicks, more views. So if you can get that high audience retention, as I mentioned before, YouTube says that a high watch time or high audience retention, a high click-through rate increases the probability of your video getting suggested. So if your video gets suggested, and YouTube says that 70% of the videos that do well on YouTube come from suggested videos. So you get that high watch time, that high click-through rate, you'll get a ton of views. And of course, if you have a trending topic and your video is one of the first ones to hit that trending topic, you can get a ton of views in a very short time. Or maybe somebody also mentioned your video on a guest post or on their channel. Or recently I was watching Mr. Beast's videos, and here's a video called how I gave someone 1 million subscribers, and then he had the video shows all about the game they played, competition they tried, and he got a shout out from Mr. Beast in his video, and Mr. Beast gets like 44 million views on a video. So by getting that shout out, that person immediately got like 1 million subscribers. So if you get a shout out from a very popular YouTuber that has millions of views, then you're going to get a ton of views. Relative audience retention. So on your audience retention graph, you can click on the drop down and it'll give you the relative audience retention. So this means that your video has retained viewers during the playback by comparing it to all YouTube videos of similar length. So it's not necessarily the same topic as what you have, but it's comparing the engagement of all other videos of similar length. So if your video is like 8 minutes long, which is the minimum length to get mid-roll ads, if you're trying to monetize your video, then it's going to compare your video length with all the video length, similar videos. So here I've got It starts off and it goes up, but most of the time I'm maintaining a relative audience retention above the 50% line. So that is good. So if you can keep most of the people watching for, the number of people watching your video, if you can keep 50% or over them watching your video all the way through, because it dips down there here at the end, then that increases the probability of your video appearing in suggested videos. So that's a good thing. That's probably why this video is still doing well on my channel, because of the high click-through rate, impressions click-through rate, and pretty decent audience retention. Somebody's mentioned about how do you find a trending topic. So to find a trending topic, best is to go into use Google Trends. You can go to Google Trends and click on the video tab, YouTube tab, YouTube link, and then put in your keyword phrase, and then you can see what is trending. So for instance, if you did put in like COVID-19, I'm sure you're going to get a very large peak there. So you can do the same for any of your videos, and if you can find a trending topic, that's in everyday society, and somehow create an angle where you can use it for your video, you can capitalize on that trending topic. What is a good audience retention? So at the top here, I've got, if you can keep 50% of your viewers watching all the way through your video, then you can get recommended by YouTube for free. It's free promotion for your video, because YouTube recommends it, pushes it into suggested videos. And usually when I upload a video, a lot of times the video will be recommended on people's watch pages on youtube.com. So this will be in the browse features, which is the browse features. If you look in your YouTube analytics, as you see here on the left, traffic source type. So I got browse features, notifications, YouTube search, external, channel pages, others. So the top one here is browse features. That is where your video appears on the home screen. For people, say people have subscribed to your channel, then your video is going to appear on the home screen at youtube.com on their computer, and youtube.com on the YouTube app. So that's great, because even if they haven't subscribed to your channel, there's your video, your big thumbnail appearing on the home screen, or appearing, when they scroll down in the YouTube app. So as I mentioned before, you can increase the chance, YouTube says you can increase the chance of YouTube suggesting your content by increasing your click-through rate. That's, your impressions click-through rate, where people see your thumbnail and click, see your title, see your thumbnail, and then click on your video and start watching it, and then increasing your watch time, so increasing that engagement. So if you go into YouTube Analytics, then you can look at your traffic source types, where they're coming from. Then they've also got this this funnel here, so the impressions and how they led to watch time. So how many impressions, that means how many times YouTube surfaced your video to people's watch pages, and then the views you got from impressions. So when people clicked on, people saw your saw your thumbnail, then they clicked on it, and so the number of views you got there, then the watch time from the impressions. Then a little graph they have over here that's part of this funnel is YouTube recommending your content. So in this case, 19% is recommending the content, recommend on the home page, 14%, watch page, 5.3%. And then they put that little graph here, which I've labeled in red, which is same here, improving your click-through rate and watch time will increase your chances of appearing in suggested. So that's always your traffic sources for your individual videos is a good thing to study. Once you've identified the audience retention graph and in your channel analytics, and you can drill down to the specific videos and look at the spikes and the dips, the continuous segments, and then you can even click on the video, and YouTube will show you exactly where people start dropping off. So that's very valuable information. What are some of the ways to increase audience retention? So let's take a look at these. First is very obvious, and that's choosing a topic that the audience cares about. So at the beginning of this live stream, I talked about trying to identify your ideal subscribers. So somebody mentioned about TubeBuddy. So I use TubeBuddy as my secret weapon to find low competition keyword phrases. So phrases that have a good search volume and also don't have too much competition. So TubeBuddy is great for that. So once you identify, once you've found the video that, your top videos that are getting good audience retention or getting a lot of traffic, then based upon the data that this particular topic, you can approach it from a different angle and start doing some keyword research. So with the TubeBuddy tool, you can get the TubeBuddy keyword score. If it's good to excellent, then it's definitely worth going after. But just keep in mind that YouTube search is not the main traffic source for many videos on YouTube. So if you know that a particular video is getting good traffic, then try to make a similar video based around that particular topic. So the whole idea is that you're trying to get your viewers that have watched your original video to keep coming back to watch more of your videos. So once you've identified your topic, you want to create a video that has a strong hook. So in that new analytics card that YouTube is giving us, it shows you the videos that people are still watching after 30 seconds. So I would say if there's anything you're going to take away from this live stream is look at that first 30 seconds of your video or your upcoming videos and try to set a goal, maybe within the next, over the next 90 days, to get 50 or 60% of your viewers still watching your video after 30 seconds. So my hunch is that the reason to put that 30 seconds there in that beginning segment, which is usually an intro, is significant, because if you can get your viewers watching that first 30 seconds, that's more likely they'll continue watching the rest of your videos. So go for that first 30 seconds. How are you going to do that? How are you going to keep people watching all the way through? So some tips associated with that is use pattern interrupts. So using your transitions, ask questions, use graphics that fly in from the screen. You don't want to overdo it and have every couple of seconds things flying in and different sounds and transitions, but don't try to overdo it. But when there's a break or you're going to start another point, then or make a point, then you could use a graphic. You could pan in, cut in, so you could move into the lens, or you could do that in your software. So using jump cuts, you could change locations, change positions, change angles of your camera. You could use humor. You could dress up as another character. You could also do an interview. If you're just filming yourself, you could film one segment with you dressed up as one person, then another segment dressed up as another person, do an interview with yourself. So just mix it up a bit. And then music also is helpful to set the mood for your content, and it helps also for your viewers to consume your content. So there's just some ideas for pattern interrupts. So let me know in the comments or in the chat, what are some ways that you interrupt or grab the attention of your viewers when you're making your video? Do you use graphics? Do you tell a joke? Do you move positions? What are some of the ways that you try? Another thing you don't want to do is avoid telegraphing the ending of your videos. So you don't want to say something like, well, that's all I have for you today, or let me summarize what I just told you. So that sort of sends a signal that you're ending the video. So don't telegraph the ending of your video. Instead, what you want to do is, what I usually do is, I know that you are interested in more content, or you can say, if you have another topic in mind for your future video or from a past video, especially if you create a video series, is just tell them, if you're interested in getting more views to your videos, then watch the next video. And so then you can link to a playlist or link to a live stream in a card, or in a card, or your end card, or your card in the video. So a playlist, and people can binge watch your videos instead of sometimes I've seen people watch 2 or 3 videos in the playlist. And then what's pretty obvious is creating an optimized title. So the title should contain your keyword phrase at the beginning, and then have some trigger, some captivating emotional content, or something that piques the interest in the second part of your title. So like a title for this one is how to read your audience retention on YouTube. What video should you make next? So this kind of helps people to pique their interest. And then when you make your thumbnail, because you got to create an eye-catching thumbnail, use an image or an expression that makes people curious. So usually we'll kind of make kind of a curious expression. What should I make next, for instance? So you want to create that eye-catching thumbnail, because if people don't click on your thumbnail, that compared to all when you compare your thumbnail with all your competitors, then if they don't click on your thumbnail, then they're not going to watch your video. You're not going to get views. You're not going to get subscribers. You're not going to get a high audience retention. You're not going to get a high click-through rate, and you've wasted all your time. So it's definitely worth looking at the data and see how you can improve your video especially in these next 90 days, and hopefully you'll have improved that, in the next few weeks. So you also want to track your top videos. So I showed you that, your top 10 videos you'll get in YouTube Analytics. Check your audience retention graph for the dips and spikes and segments. And then, make a goal for yourself. What is one thing that you can improve on your video in the next 90 days? So what is it? What specifically can you do to improve your audience retention? So generally, most of my audience retention that I get is around between 30, 35, or 30 to 40%. And those videos that get higher generally do better. So if you can aim for 50%, that's pretty hard. But I find those videos that get like 35% audience retention and then I get a decent click-through rate, they generally get suggested by YouTube. So look at your audience retention and see how you can improve that. So what video should you make next? Identify the top 10 videos in YouTube Analytics by looking at the engagement tab. Identify the videos that have continuous segments. What are the segments where people are watching for a longer period of time. So that means that the content is resonating with your audience. Then you create a video on a similar topic. So you approach the topic from a different angle. You can even go into suggested videos and see what videos have been suggested from that video. And then you can come up with a similar topic. So you can use TubeBuddy, you can use Answer the Public, you can use Google Trends, all these particular tools. Morning Fame is another one I use. And then your goal is to aim for a higher audience retention and a higher click-through rate, use a title with that searchable keyword phrase, create an eye-catching thumbnail, and then share your video out to your social media sites, your website, etc. So how do you get discovered on YouTube via suggested videos? I made a video on that recently, so I'm going to put that, I've got that in the description, but I'll also, this is the thumbnail for that video, so I'll put that in the end screen, how to dominate suggested videos. So check that video out to see how you can dominate suggested videos.